Caritas and Veritate, or Charity and Truth, was signed on June 29th of 2009 by Pope Benedict XVI. The encyclical highlights problems of global development and progress towards the common good. Charity and truth is the principal driving force behind the authentic development of every person. Charity, or love, is an authentic expression of humanity and an element of fundamental importance in human relations. Love does not exist without truth. The two go hand in hand. Pope Benedict XVI states that the fatal risk facing love in a culture without truth is the non-existence of love. The 5 most important teachings of Caritas and Veritate are: number 1, Benedict's review of the message of Pope Paul VI encyclical Populorum Progressio; 2, human development in our time; 3, fraternity, economic development, and civil society; 4, the cooperation of the human family; and last but not least, number 5, the development of people and technology. Beginning with the message of Populorum Progressio, the encyclical repeatedly underlines the urgent need for reform. The urgency is derived from the very matter at stake, the establishment of authentic fraternity. The gospel is essential in building a society according to freedom and justice. Entrusting the entire process of development to technology alone poses a great danger in the technocratic ideology that is so prevalent today. A world without development lacks trust in man and in God. Paul VI teaches in Populorum Progressio that progress is first and foremost a vocation. Integral human development requires responsible freedom in today's society. Populorum Progressio also highlights the causes of underdevelopment, stating the causes of such are found within the dimension of every human person. An even more important cause of underdevelopment is, quote, the lack of brotherhood among individuals and people, end quote. The second most important teaching of Caritas and Veritate is the subject of human development in our time. Profit as an exclusive goal may destroy wealth and create poverty. Today's crises are an opportunity for discernment in which to shape a new vision for the future. Development needs above all to be true and integral. Unemployment or dependence on public or private assistance causes great psychological and spiritual suffering due to undermining of freedom and creativity. The elimination of world hunger is a requirement for safeguarding the peace and stability of the planet. To do so, we must eliminate the structural causes of world hunger and promote agricultural development of the poor countries. We must consider food and access to water as universal rights of all human beings. Respect for life is also directly linked with the development of people. Openness to life is absolutely essential for true development. The promotion of religious indifference of many countries obstructs the requirements for the development of people. Globalization has been the driving force behind the emergence from underdevelopment of whole regions, but it represents a great opportunity. The third most important teaching of Pope Benedict XVI encyclical is fraternity, economic development, and civil society. Charity and truth is a powerful force that builds community. To build a fully fraternal community, we need God. Concerning the poor, Benedict XVI says, the poor are not to be considered a burden, but a resource. According to the Church's social doctrine, justice must be applied to every phase of economic activity. We must keep in mind that every economic decision has a moral consequence. Taking a look at today's international economic scene, Benedict observes that, quote, the outsourcing of production can weaken the economy's sense of responsibility towards its stakeholders, end quote. Also, we are advised to avoid financial resources that yield to the temptation of short-term profit. Globalization will be what people make of it, according to Pope John Paul II. Globalization has opened up the unprecedented possibility of large-scale redistribution of wealth on a worldwide scale. It is necessary to ensure that the redistribution of wealth does not come about through the redistribution or increase of poverty. The fourth teaching is the cooperation of the human family. According to Pope Benedict, quote, one of the deepest forms of poverty a person can experience is isolation, end quote. This isolation is often produced by a rejection of God's love. There is a great danger present when humanity places too much trust in merely human projects, ideologies, and false utopias. The principle of subsidiarity is essential for fraternal cooperation between believers and non-believers. The principles of subsidiarity and solidarity must remain closely linked, especially when addressing issues concerning international development aid. The most valuable resource in countries receiving development aid are human resources. Cooperation for development is not just about the economic dimension, it also offers a great opportunity for encounter between cultures and people. Development aid for poor countries must be considered a valid means of creating wealth for all when searching for solutions to the current economic crisis. Greater unity or solidarity at the international level is seen in the ongoing promotion of greater access to education. Another aspect of integral human development is the phenomenon of migration. Every migrant possesses rights that must be respected by everyone, no matter what. The direct link between poverty and unemployment cannot be avoided when considering the problems associated with development. Poverty results in many cases from a violation of dignity of human work. Considered one of the most controversial comments made in this encyclical, Pope Benedict XVI says that there is an urgent need for a true worldwide political authority. The final most important teaching is the development of people and technology. Technological development can give rise to the idea that technology is self-sufficient. If technology took over, there would be a confusion between ends and means. Peace is even in danger of being considered a technical development. The meaning and purpose of the medium must be sought within an anthropological perspective. The field of bioethics is a particularly crucial background to today's cultural struggle. Due to the supremacy of technology, people do not recognize anything that cannot be explained in terms of matter alone. We must always remember that our knowledge is always a minor miracle. Many major controversies with the publication of Caritas and Veritate existed before it was even released, but some were intensified following the publication. Respect and care for the environment has been a major discussion for many years now, but some people were upset when Benedict said that the poor of developing countries cannot perform farming techniques if it is not respectful of the environment. Many people believe that the poor people should be allowed to do whatever they want, to go about whatever means necessary to emerge from the extreme poverty that is prevalent in these underdeveloped countries. Benedict caused more controversy that was already present when he made comments on respect for life. Practices of demographic control, for example, in some parts of the world consist of leaders who are obviously enraged when Benedict said their countries cannot fully develop because of their practices. Then you have some people who were not happy when implications were made about the immortality of contraceptives. One of the most controversial statements made in his encyclical was concerning the urgency for world government. People were furious when Benedict said that the international institutions should play a role in regulating the economy. Benedict says that the access to food and water should be considered universal rights for everyone. The majority of people thought this was a good point, but you have the small group of inconsiderate people who believe it should not be a universal right. They say that it is not our problem whether or not they have food and/or water. Caritas and Veritate, published less than 5 years ago, is still very relevant today. Respect for life is still a major issue in today's society. As of December of 2013, 22% of all pregnancies end in abortion. 54% of women who have abortions have never used a method of birth control. Many environmental issues have become even more relevant today. Pollution affects over 100 million people today. Over 1 billion people worldwide do not have access to safe drinking water. Approximately 46% of the lakes in America are too polluted for fishing, aquatic life, or swimming. Among many Americans, global warming is still considered a major threat to Earth. 2013 touted as the warmest year since 1880. Concerning the relevance of world hunger today, 842 million people in the world do not have enough to eat. The danger of technological development is even more relevant today. As of 2012, there were 2.4 billion internet users. As for the relevance of unemployment today, unemployment was down 22.7% in June of 2013, the 4-year anniversary of the publication of Caritas and Veritate. Represented in the table here are the contradictions of the Church in the modern world. Number 1, the Church says abortion is not the answer no matter what the circumstances are. The modern world says that abortion is the answer for certain people such as the poor and single women. Number 2, the Church says that as Americans we must respect the rights of Hispanic immigrants. Many people in the U.S. say to deport them and that they do not deserve to be treated with the respect they deserve as people of God. Number 3, the Church teaches that the poor are to be considered a resource, not a burden. Some inconsiderate people of the modern world consider the poor useless. Last but not least, the Church, at least Pope Benedict XVI, says there is an urgent need for a true world political authority. Many people, if not most, of today's society believe a global dictatorship would lead to man's last days on Earth. That sums up my presentation. Thank you.